Dear student, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ravikumar Nanduri, Associate Professor, History, Heritage, Tourism Studies, Hindi Mahavidyalaya, Hyderabad. So, we are discussing about the cultural tourism, and this one module is Cultural Heritage Tourism in India. Cultural tourism is a very important aspect in recent developments, and every country is focusing on cultural tourism. Cultural heritage brings a lot of income, foreign exchange, and cultural benefits to each and every country. In this one, our learning objectives of today lesson is the learning objectives of this module is emergence of cultural heritage tourism. Local can enjoy socio-economic benefit and improve environment. To develop tourism, dignity, respect, nurture local cultures. Same time, it pride confidence among local communities. To preserve, enhance local culture, art, handicrafts, monument. See, we have a more cultural things in India, different art forms, different handicrafts, different monuments. All this one, most important thing is marketing and promotion. Marketing promotion is very important for tourism development. Now, we are discussing with the introduction of this topic. Dear students, in the cultural tourism, whose culture is developed? The debate is always an important here. The debate surrounding the role of cultural heritage tourism in the retrieval of history has gained much importance recently. Several scholars argued that cultural heritage tourism plays an important role discovering identity of kingdoms, nations ruling different periods. We have different periods in India. Each different periods have the different cultural objectives, aspects. Ethnically diverse societies with their competing interests to claim due share of the history. Cultural entries, tendencies, cultural fragmentation, cultural tourism, conventionally emerging an important tool for development. Now, the cultural identity, cultural tourism is a very important aspect for development of in India and any other country. In this one, cultural heritage tourism now a big tourism aspect of the world. In every world economy, cultural heritage tourism is a very important aspect. And recent years, it plays a success story. Every country is based on cultural tourism because it brings business, creating jobs, generating income for local people. And cultural tourism provides an alternative form of income. Cultural heritage tourism has become an essential form of a new tourism. Cultural heritage constitutes a vital resource for tourism development. Tourism in turn make important contribution for cultural development. Cultural heritage tourism constitutes an important segment of global demand. See, according to World Tourism Organization, 38 international tourists is culturally motivated and growing 15% annually. Cultural heritage tourism elements a new tourism has caught imagination of policy makers, tourism academies around the world and across the world. We have a lot of literature is available in the field of cultural heritage tourism, and policy makers has also developed a different cultural tourism products. Then, as per the present latest statistics, a foreign tourist arrival in India 2004 2.5 millions, 2008 5.2 millions, 2010 5.8 millions, and 2014 6.7 millions. This I am showing in the graph form. In this graph you can easily find out 2004, 8, 10, 14, how it's increasing the tourist arrivals in India. Now we are discussing about the changing facets of the tourism. Very inception of the life, travel has fascinated man. Travel is a very important aspect for day-to-day life, and is in the inception of life also travel has fascinated. Travel tourism as an important social activity of human being from the time immemorial. That is why people travel from one place to another place. There is a three important Tirthatana, Paryatana, Desatana are emerging from this same lines only. The urge to explore of new places within own country or outside is important for the tourists and brings a lot of income for countries. Then nowadays a role of internet is also very important for tourism development. Internet gives a major role for tourism. How? Internet gives us a lot of information on the booking facilities and tourist products, destinations, cultural. We can browse from our personal computer and finalizing our itinerary and travel plans. And same time, so we can check with the hotels and weather forecast, read up of the local food and local gastronomy, even talk to other tourists is also important. We can find out in the internet, and same time we can choose our destination. Now I am discussing about the cultural heritage tourism definition. Tourism lovers visits all types of cultural attractions including museums, monuments, cultures. Now every tourist is very important to know about other cultures, other places. That is why it gives a lot of interest on their to learn about their other cultures. For example, museums gives a lot of information, monument shows us their past culture, and the cultures also gives a very good information to the tourist. Now other cultural manifestation includes consumption of way of their life. Cultural tourism largely concerns the legacy of the past, hard cultural resources, old buildings, museums, monuments, works. Now, old building gives us a lot of information about past history. Museums gives us very important information of the, because museums are the treasure house of the culture. And it also gives us promoting understanding between the different peoples, different cultures. And everywhere we can find out different peoples, different cultural interactions. And Hughes, a famous tourist, he argues cultural tourism tends to apply the trips whenever the cultural resources are visited, regardless of the initial motivation. Motivation means how to go different places with the different areas. That is why Hughes classified tourist wants to experience culture and distinct way of life, ethnic tourist. Now we are discussing about the cultural heritage tourism types. Now cultural tourism heritage types are very important for the tourism development. Cultural heritage tourism divided into two branches. One is tangible, second is intangible. Tangible means a natural heritage, caves, natural reserves, eco parks, builds, heritage historical buildings, museums, monuments. And intangible means indigenous oral textual traditions, indigenous practices, culturals, festivals, and other areas. Now, cultural heritage is very important for tourism promotion. And cultural heritage can exist in different forms. One is tangible. Tangible means a material form, meaning that physically touch. Whenever you go to different places, you can touch and feel. Example, monuments, buildings, work of art, painting, objects. These are the tangible heritage areas. And tangible heritage comprises immovable. It cannot be removed from place origin. For example, building. We have different buildings of the historical buildings are there in India that we can see. And movable heritage, it can easily to move from one place to another place. Objects. Intangible heritage. Intangible heritage can exist in example, music, dance, literature, language, knowledge, local traditions. For example, dance. Where the different dance forms are there? Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali. This we can find out a different places. That means it can be moved from one place to another places. Whereas the monuments are Qutub Minar, Humayun Tomb, Charminar, Taj Mahal. It can be only at particular place only you can go and enjoy. And now is the next topic, same thing we are going to discuss on the growth of cultural heritage tourism. Practically, every country in the world today looking for a tourism an important factor for growth of national prosperity. The country's prosperity, every country is focusing on cultural heritage tourism. 5 sequential phases are identified in this form. 1. Travel desire. Desire to travel is very important for everybody. One must see in own country or different places. Second, information collection evaluation. First one is if you want to go any place, you have to find out the information. Then that information you have to codify it as a form of the collection and evaluate it in the form of that will go to the travel agent. We can book a ticket and he will give the information. He will give the itinerary. The same itinerary, we can evaluate the cost benefit also. That is the why in this one, information collection evaluation is important for travel motivation. And time constraint, alternative possibilities, many other factors also evolved in this one. For example, he prepared for 15 days for the itinerary, but time constraint, we can make it in 10 days. And cost is also very important for a normal traveler. Because normal traveler is very important, is a cost constraint. Cost is important for the travel. Second one is travel decision and destination way of traveling accommodation. Now this is also very important for tourism development by travel decision, the way of traveling and accommodation. Accommodation is also very important for tourism. In the accommodation we have the what it's called a normal accommodation to luxury hotels are there. For example, accommodation in the case of any travel place, tourist place or religious place, their chowtry is also there and big hotels are there. Travel preparation and experience. For example, ticket booking, travel money, documents, clothing, travel itself is very important. Suppose when you are going to cold places, you have to take different types of clothes. When you are going to tropical areas, you are taking a different cloth. And documents also important for travel. And travel satisfaction evaluation. And what is the main essence of the tour? Satisfaction. If you go to different places, you can enjoy a place, and finally, you can express with the other people. That is why a man is also very important for the role. So, a personal experience is also important for. It's also one of the important what is called promotion activities. Then facilities and services. When you are going to different places, attractions are different types. There are the cultural attractions are there, natural attractions are there, and different landforms are there, flora, fauna, and same time transport also very important. Sometimes their travel walks are there. Suppose if we go to Hampi, we can go through cycling. That is a very important way of move from one place to another place. And transport is also very important. From the local transport to, we can go by air also. Though accommodations also from a small hotel guest house to holiday campus to big resorts, even the what is called local areas of the, you can, if you want to mingle with the local people, you can live with them, their own hearts and own places. And that is when you go to ethnic tourism, this can be possible for us. Then and other facilities and services also important because medical centers, bank, restaurants and shops also important for nowadays. We can easily find out all these things. Then road, rails, airport, electricity, sewage, disposal, so on also important. Infrastructure is also important for travel and tourism. Then now I am discussing with the interaction between tourism and cultural heritage. Now, cultural heritage tourism is a very important one because tourism brings a lot of income to the country. Same time, cultural heritage also gives a lot of information to other countries. That is why cultural exchange, personal experience is important for cultural tourism development. Same time, tourism can capture the economic characters, heritage, awareness, conservation, generating funds. Now, if anybody is coming to our country, we have to bring a lot of respect, and many national, regional economies, important factors development managed successful. Tourism itself became an increasing complex phenomena with the political, economic, social, cultural, educational, biophysical, ecological, aesthetic dimensions. The achievement of benefits of the interaction between visitors and host local communities. Now, tourism brings a social, cultural, educational, biophysical, ecological importance. Suppose any person coming to India, he can learn about our traditional values, education values, cultural values, social values. Tourism brings benefits to the host communities and provides important means and motivation. Involvement of cooperation, local, indigenous community represents, conservationists, tourism operators, proper owners, policy makers, preparing the national development plans, site managers, necessary achievement of the sustainable tourism industry. Now, tourism gives a lot of income to host communities, and same time, host communities also learn from others. Policy makers also brings a lot of changes in cultural tourism aspects. Now we are discussing about the importance of cultural heritage tourism. Cultural heritage is the great expression of the people's existence in the past, near past, present, has been passed to the present generation by past generations. Now, tourism brings a past generations to present generations. This means it is a growing phenomena. It tells the traditions, beliefs, achievements of the countries and their people. Cultural heritage contributes humankind many different ways. Some way easily identified, while others economic contribution earliest form. Then cultural heritage attracts tourism, brings economic benefit to country, important contribution towards human knowledge. Past cultural heritage, archaeological sites, historical towns, religious structures, rituals, festivals. For example, in India, we have different archaeological sites are there, from Indus Valley civilization to all archaeological sites, historical towns and centers, religious structures, rituals, festivals, provides knowledge about our history, our values, our technology, our artistic excellences. Cultural heritage is not just about something happened in the past. So, cultural heritage is not something past. It gives a impression to tourists how our past, our culture, our technology, our people's achievements, he can learn from the objects. Heritage brings inherited from the past can be passed to future generations. Heritage sites an area which can be as large and region, landscape, small building. Now, I am discussing with you principles of cultural heritage tourism in India. Now, first one is encourage public awareness of heritage. Cultural exchange conservation should provide responsible and well managed. Managing dynamic relations. The relation between heritage places, tourism is a dynamic, may involve conflicting values. Managed sustainable way of present and future generation. Places of heritage significance, all peoples an important basis of the cultural diversity, social development. Ensure worthwhile visitors experience. Conserving tourism planning, heritage places should encourage the visitors experience worthwhile, satisfying, enjoyable. Any tourist is observing any heritage place, he will give a maximum satisfaction and enjoyable. Respect to sanctity of the spiritual places, practices tradition is an important consideration for site managers, visitors, policy makers, planners and tourism operators. Visitors should encourage, behave, welcome guests, respect to the values, lifestyles, host communities, responsible managers and give a renewed welcome. Suppose a person coming to any place, we have to give some welcome and which gives what is called a mutual benefit to the guest and host communities. Involve the host indigenous communities. Host communities, indigenous people should be involved in the planning for conservation tourism. Rights of in interest of the host communities at the regional, local level should be respected. If you involve a local people in the tourism development and indigenous peoples also feel this is our culture, this is our place, I have to respect it, I have to conserve it. This is a message we are going to give from this lesson and provide benefit for the local communities. Tourism and conservation activities should be benefit the host communities. Responsible promotion program. Now finally is the most important one is promotion of our culture and cultural program. Tourism promotion program should be protect, enhance natural cultural heritage character. Tourism promotion program should create realistic expectations. Places collection of the heritage significance should be promoted, managed in a way in which protect their authenticity, enhance visitors' experience, minimizing the fluctuations in arrival. Now, see, normally tourism means a seasonal phenomena. Nowadays, tourism is a sustainable development, a continuous process. One must come and visit all the places at any time, any place. Tourism promotion program should provide a wider distribution benefit, relieve pressures on the more popular places by encouraging visitors. Suppose nowadays, popular places have more crowded. Now, if you developed other places also, which give benefit to the local areas also. Now, local areas, if the people is going to local areas, then what happened? And the people distributed and they can learn different places in different areas. Only if you go to one particular place, that place is always crowded. So policymakers should know the development of other places, other sites also important for tourism development. Promotion, distribution, sales of local crafts, other products should be provided reasonable social economic returns to host communities. Now, the artifacts is a very important one. If you go to any place, we can buy their local artifact. When you buy a local artifact, it will give immense satisfaction for the tourist. Now, with the help of this information, I am linking with the cultural heritage tourism in India. Now, very important one, we have the 4 important precepts of Indian culture that everybody know. Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. That means it reference to the mother, father, teacher, guest. Even at the Indian cultural to Indian tourism, our most important one is Atithi Devo Bhava. The concept of Atithi Devo Bhava is nothing but the old precepts of Indian cultural heritage. Then, what are the resources are involved in the cultural tourism in India? We have the archaeological sites, museum. Suppose if you go to the Indus Valley civilization, we can find out Indus Valley civilization of the Harappa, Mohenjo-daro site. If you go to any museum, you can find out the museum. Museum is a treasure house of our culture, our past and heritage. For example, we have the Salajing Museum, British Museum, Calcutta Museum. The different museums are there. Then architecture is one important tourism area. For example, ruins of famous buildings and whole towns. The architecture of Indians is we can find out from for example, Akshardham, Delhi, Buddhist monuments of Sanchi, Sarnath, and the next one is called Brihadeshwara Temple in Tanjore. Locally it's called the Big Temple. And then we have different cultural tourism areas, art, sculpture, crafts, galleries, festivals, events. Then Halibedi sculptures, Karnataka, Ajanta cave painting, Ellora. These are the important cultural tourist areas. And suppose a dance and music also important source for the tourism in India. Like already we discussed, like the Bharatanatyam, folklore, music, all are important one for the tourism development. Then we have the different cultural aspects that we can be promoted through cultural tourism in India. Then we have a drama, different theatre art is there. For example, Sakuntala Kalidasa, which is available, the theatre art at Calcutta. Then we have a language, literature, and tour events. For example, Holy Vedas, these are also available for us. And religious festivals and pilgrims. Indian fairs and festivals always capture in the center stage when it comes to tourism. Even the tourists coincide their trips to India with the popular Indian fairs and festivals. Indian Culture Festival foundations lingers till the date due to deep-rooted traditions, customs in the country. Fairs and festivals is spirit of Indian culture and society. Indian fairs and festivals either refresh or what is called change of the seasons, kneel down before its event. Here is, we have a different religious festivals are in India because India is a composite culture. and from where we can celebrate different cultural festivals, different tour fairs and travel fairs, and folk dances, cultural and subcultural areas. Suppose we are going to different places in India, we can find out a different costumes, different colors, different cultures in India. And in the cultural tourism attractions also, monuments is very important. For example, one example of the Sanchi Buddhist stupa in Sanchi, Agra Fort, and Chola Hindu temple, and Church Lady Health Church in the Goa. This next one is called Indian Museum of the Kolkata, National Museum of Delhi, Archaeological Museum of the all are important cultural tourism development. Now, I am summarizing this topic today. Already you learn about the cultural tourism in India. This in the cultural tourism, what you learn, tourism is an important development for the country. Second, tourism brings a lot of foreign exchange and the cultural interaction with the other people. And cultural tourism is a broad terms, includes many activities. Tour based around the art, museums, architectural, theatre. Tour centered around the indigenous people, ethnic groups. Travel to festivals, visit to historical places and monuments, folklore and pilgrims. Cultural tourism brings the enjoyment for the different peoples in the world. Dear students, already you learned about cultural heritage tourism in India. In this one, we learned about the how culture brings tourists India, and what are the major principles, and what are the major tourism products. We already you learn about tangible, intangible products. Then you learn about different tourist attractions, and what are the major areas is transport, accommodation, attraction. These three are very important for tourism. If there is more transportation, more people come to this place. More attraction is there, people go to that place. And more facilities are there, they'll come. Nowadays, you can find out the internet is also gives a major role for tourism development, because now everybody can browse, even they with the what is called the palm tops, laptops, even the what is called smartphones also. They can know about the place importance, or the how much it costs. Everything you can learn about this one. And dear students, if you have any information regarding this topic, you can find out from the e-test from e-PG Pathshala. Thank you.